I bet that's not the intro you guys were expecting. What's poppin', guys? Garrchampion here. In this video, we're going to be covering the trades, drops, and all that for our coaches after week 3, as well as kind of do something slightly different. We have the coach of the Ann Arbor Alakazams here with us in this video, discussing everything that kind of happened and during week 3, as well as kind of going over some of the standings and all that. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoy this video. It's a little bit longer, but it's more of a discussion type video after we get past the drops. Timestamps will be in the description below. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for all your support for the GDL. I've been having a lot of fun with it, and it seems like everybody else is having fun with it too. So leave a like if you do enjoy this type of content. And yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Let's get on to the drops. Okay, so we're going to start with me, the Levincia Lightning Rods. Just like week 1, I think it was week 1. Either way, we made some huge changes. We got rid of 3 Pokemon. And these 3 Pokemon might surprise you guys, because I'm dropping the 2 Pokemon I picked up and Haxorus. Haxorus I just could not make work. It just didn't really fit how I wanted to play. Unfortunately, Haxorus is a great Pokemon, as is the other 2 that I dropped. But I have some high hopes for this new pickup. And this new pickup is Enamorous Incarnate. So this thing's gonna be a monster. It's 17 points for a reason, and it just provides a good fairy flying type with Contrary, has good physical attack as well as special attack, and then relatively high speed stat as well. So I have high hopes for this thing. So, and just an update, my team is finalized now. I have no more free agent picks. I can trade, but I'm not going to. You know, my team is pretty locked in. I like it. It's solid. And this Enamorous here fills the void, I think, for my team. So, yep, we're going to go on to the next pick. Next up, we have the Lake Superiors, finally making their move. And they were currently the lowest point total team in the league, but not anymore. The Lake Superiors decided to drop Sandaconda and Tropius, and then gain 2 higher point Pokemon here. Those are Jirachi and Galarian Slowbro. Both really good Pokemon, both very bulky. Got Quick Claw, Quick Draw shenanigans, and then Serene Grace shenanigans with Jirachi. So both of these are very bulky Pokemon. Very good picks from the Lake Superiors. And I look forward to seeing these in my current battle this week. So, yes. And we will go on to the next one. Next up, we have the Vaulting Veluzas. And they are making a drop with Azelf, and then picking up Galarian Weezing. So it was kind of funny because the Vaulting Veluzas and the Levincia Lightning Rods, we used to have relatives, you know, so I had Hisui and Sliggoo, he had Hisui and Gudra. Well, I have Weezing, and then now he has Galarian Weezing. So we're still relatives, just different family. It's kind of funny. I had to call that out. But yeah, this is a good pickup because neutralizing gas is a very powerful ability, and the fairy typing will be nice for the team as well. And it's Doug Dimmadome. All right, I expect a nickname similar to that in the upcoming weeks, because if you don't know the Vaulted Veluzas, that's pretty fire nicknames. So, yep, look forward to the fun nicknames and the potential with the Weezing. So we'll go on to the next one. And next on the list, we have the Pod Squad making a pretty big change. So let's go over their drops here. They're dropping Samurott, Hisui and Typhlosion, and Ampharos, which, gosh, Ampharos looks very mean. He's like, screw you, Pod Squad. Why'd you drop me, man? And then, you know, you got Samurott here just trying to give the pod squad an evil glare, and then Hisui and Typhlosion's like, yeah, I'll be back. Alright, anyways. So they're dropping all 3 of those. For Armarouge. This was a great pick because they do have the Indeedee female set up Psychic Terrain. And this just gives this thing so much setup potential. So I do like this pick personally. And I think it's going to be a great improvement on the team. And 2 of those Pokemon that were dropped, the Samurott and the Typhlosion, I believe, were the Terra Captains. And so now Brute Bonnet is now elected Terra Captain, one of the 2 Terra Captains for the team. So, yep, a lot of changes for the pod squad. And hopefully it'll be good coming weeks with this change. On to the next one. Okay, so next up we have the Heart Homeless Honey Buns. And they're going to be dropping yet another mythical, Manaphy, and then be picking up Ting Lu. So I do say I really like this drop. It's very similar to one that the Vaulted Veluzas did week after week 1. Very similar situation. They both got 6-0'd, and they both picked up a very defensive Pokemon the following week. And to me, that shows that they realized there was a hole within the team, and they're trying to fix it with the defensive Pokemon. Hence, the Ting Lu. One of the best defensive Pokemon around. So, this thing's almost unkillable in 1 hit. So, I think that's a very good pickup. A very good way to adapt to sweeping potential, you know? So, kudos to you for making this good pick and being very adaptive. So, Garrchampion approved. On to the next one. Alright, so the Lakeside Ladybugs making their first change. And they are dropping Crocodile. And then they are picking up... Okay, guys. I saw this image and I had to put it in because it was like one of the first ones that popped up. Scream Tail. That thing's funny. Oh, I love that thing. I found this on DeviantArt. I'm going to share the person's Winter Freak. Thank you for the wonderful, wonderful image on DeviantArt. This thing is amazing. Oh, I love it. Who loves it? Leave a like for the for this frickin' Screamtail image, dude. Again, this is done by Winter Freak on DeviantArt. Okay, next pick. And lastly, we have the Huntingdon Houndooms. They are not making any changes to the team other than a change in Terra type, which costs a free agent pick. So that's why it's even in this video. So Miss Magius will now gain the Electric Terra type. So that's a pretty good one, given that it has Levitate. And I love it because that's what Iono uses. Alright? So, yeah, that is it for this section, guys. And we are going to move on to our week breakdown. And we're going to be featuring one of the other coaches, which will be introduced in that section of the video. So, yeah. These are all the updates. And everything else will be in the next section. What's poppin', guys? So we are doing a week review here. We got the coach, the Ann Arbor Alakazam Dontoid, here with me. And slightly different video here. We're going to be talking about what happened this week. And kind of giving some of our thoughts. And yeah. So let's start off here. We'll pull up the schedule for this week. So we'll start off with my match. The Levincia Lightning Rods and the Lakeside Ladybugs. That was kind of a high stakes battle because we were both 2-0. And so one person was staying undefeated, the other was taking their first loss. And I ended up winning. Again, check out all the battles. I have a nice little playlist. So it's actually kind of enjoyable to watch because I actually just watched through week 1. It was like, oh, that's kind of fun. So you guys might enjoy that too if you guys haven't seen any of the battles. But yeah, so I ended up winning. But more of the fact of the matter is it was just a high stake match, and it was just a fun match to watch in general.
Yeah, it's we'll talk about it a little later. But it kind of makes it easier for you to get into playoffs while making it a little more difficult for the Ladybugs to get into playoffs. It still happened early enough in the season to where any team still has that chance to make it in. But the other big thing with this is you ended up sweeping with that Iron Jugulus.
Debut.
So getting him on the rankings for individual kills and then getting you kind of a nice bump to your differential.
Yeah, it was nice because my previous weeks I've won 3-0 both times. So this was a slightly bigger win for me, which was nice. Because the differential will matter, and we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, it was a good match though. I think the most interesting thing from that match was you brought Skeledirge against a rain team, and a team with multiple ground types.
Yeah.
And a very strong attacking ghost type.
Yeah. The surprise factor, guys. Use that to your advantage sometimes. That's why draft is so fun. Alright, so next up we got the Pod Squad and the DC United Tyrannotars. And I will say that I did help the Pod Squad with team building. I just wanted to go over with him kind of my processes and help better some of his battles. And I think he played pretty well. And if you guys saw that battle, it could have been the complete opposite direction. It could have been a 3-0 win on his end if that Zapdos wasn't there. But kudos to the DC United Tyrannotars because that Dragon Tail was super clutch and really put that Enamorus in a bad position. But yeah, I mean, it was a good battle on both ends. Really good prep on both ends.
Yeah, again, I mean, with all these matches, winning is obviously going to make it easier to get into playoffs. But on the losing end, yes, this and Garrchampion's battle were both 4-0s, but 4-0 is better than a 5 or a 6-0. Really trying to work with that differential, especially now with the way the rankings are standing. But yeah, I thought the interesting tech with this battle with the Pod Squad and the Tyrannotars, the Dragon Tail that brought out the Enamorus, so then Tyranitar could just raw Stone Edge it. I think that was a big part of that battle that kind of tipped the scales more in the Tyranitar's favor.
Yeah. And with the team build, Enamorus was used to help take out the Zapdos, which was the one thing in Pod Squad's way of wiping the rest of the Tyranitar's team. But yeah, so that was just really good prep from the Tyrannotars, So next up we had the Lake Superiors and the Orlando Orricorios. And
man, talk about turn one setup. I think the Lake Superiors have done that every single week. It's been working, so keep it up, I guess.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But with that said, if you have versed the Lake Superiors and lost, don't let that discourage you. Because I talked to the Lake Superiors coach myself, and he did the calcs ahead of time. He knew that Mimikyu set up one-shot basically everything. He knew that ahead of time. So, that was good prep on his end. As well as, a good move pool. So, that just shows, how good damage calcs is doing in prep. And if you aren't doing that, you should probably just transition over. And if you need help, you can feel free to, message me, Alakazams, Datum V, and then we can kind of help you guys go in a certain direction if needed. But I really think that damage calcs being done, for draft is super important because you're fighting those specific Pokemon. It's not like you're making a general team and going on the ladder against randoms.
Well, and I think the other good thing to point out with this too is it wasn't a 6-0.
Yeah.
Like, even though the calcs were done and Mimikyu could one-shot just about everything, if not everything, the Orricorios were still able to knock it out. So, again, helping with that differential in the long run. I can almost guarantee that it will end up mattering.
Yeah.
But, yeah, again, the turn 1 setup, I mean, it's just making me feel like if I play the Lake Superiors, I'm just going to run Whirlwind or Roar. And just...
yeah. Or Mirror or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's another thing to consider, too, is just an opponent's play style. We've seen 3 weeks of videos now, so we should kind of get a general idea of how each coach is playing. So there's a lot going into prep. Yeah, I don't think I have much else to say about this battle. So next up, we have the Bolton Veloozas and the Huntingdon Houndooms. And this was a similar matchup where both teams had losses and 0 wins. And so somebody came out with a win today, so that's a plus. And that went to the Bolton Veloozas. And gotta say, the nicknames are pretty fire. They always are with that coach.
And I always feel bad when I don't nickname my Pokemon. Like, everyone's gonna make fun of me now. Not only do I not have shinies, but they're also not nicknamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Terra Normal Facade Toxic Orb Cyclizar was pretty cool.
That was pretty clutch. I will say, it really seems like a lot of misfortune is over the Houndooms, because it seems like in all the weeks, there's something stupid happening to stop his Pokemon from taking 1 or 2 more kills. If I remember correctly, Mamoswine had 5 paralysis turns.
Yeah.
4 or 5. That is huge. He could have easily, taken it down to a 3-0 if that weren't the case. But it's RNG, and unfortunately, it just wasn't in his favor.
Well, and that's, I know your battle had RNG there with the flinch with the Dark Pulse.
Yeah.
Not sure how much that was going to matter, but again, what are the chances that Dark Pulse flinches? Like 15%? So
Look it up.
It's pretty low.
I think just breaking out of paralysis is 30.
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up, too. I want to look up Dark Pulse. 20% is for Dark Pulse, and that's, I would assume it's the same with Air Slash. Paralysis. Pokemon. Okay. Let's see. Blind or do I not see?
Just keep going down.
Burn. Freeze. Paralysis. 25% each turn. So that's
being
just
unable to attack each turn.
unable to attack each turn. Yeah. So you have 75% chance of attacking, and that's just
So he had like 4 turns where he didn't, and then you do the math, and it's like,
yeah.
you should buy a lottery ticket. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm.
That's our conclusion. Buy a lottery ticket.
The Bolton Veloozas should buy a lottery ticket.
Yes.
After that.
Yes. Yeah, it was nice to see the Quackvale come in. Come and get a kill with his debut week. Set up that Moxie. That was cool. I feel so bad about the paralysis though. Mamoswine could have shined.
It happens.
It happens though. So don't be discouraged. Okay, it's just RNG. It happens. So yeah, let's move on to the next team. It was your match. The Ann Arbor Alakazams and the Cortando Corphish. This was also kind of a high stakes one, because if he won, then he is in the undefeated tier still. And then the Cortando Corphish won, then now they're on even terms. They're both 2-1. And then whatever happened with differential. And so now let's just bring it up here. So with the Cortando Corphish claiming the victory, that actually put them in 3rd place, with tying the Ann Arbor Alakazams with a 7 differential, but since he lost, the Cortando Corphish is now ahead. So even though it's technically tied 2-1, the Cortando Corphish is higher up in the rankings. So.
Yeah, and it was a closer battle than what we've kind of seen this week. I thought it was fun. I liked it. My Appleton didn't work the way I wanted it to. I thought the item worked differently than how it did, so I was a little sad there. Mm-hmm. And then just, Rillaboom's annoying. I got the special defense drop with Shadow Ball, which was amazing.
Okay, we saw it. So, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't have too much to say about the battle.
No, go watch it. It was a fun
go
one.
Watch it. So yeah, that was an important battle too. That I didn't realize even the stakes when it came to who won. Because I only saw it from if he won, then he stays 3-0. But now that we see that he won, he's actually ahead. Next up, we finally got a win from the Charizard Champions, going out of that slump against the Honey Buns here, and claimed a 6-0 victory. That is second time it's been done this season. First time being from the Cortando Corphish, week 1 against the Bolton Blues. But yeah, that was a big win for the Charizard Champions. Their differential is cleaned up a lot more now. They were a lot lower before.
Yeah, they're -1.
Yeah, but now they're -1. So that big win really helped his differential. So, and then if the Charizard Champions continues to win, then that differential will start adding up from there. Even if it's just a small win every time, it'll be in the positive. But yep. And it's always tough to get beat 6-0. But like I said previously, don't get discouraged. It happens. It happens to all of us. Adam's been 6-0'd in previous leagues to Ludicolo. He probably is going to smack both of us for bringing that one up. But yeah, it happens to everybody,
And I think this also, going back to what you're bringing up about prepping, shows that the Ninetales Baxcalibur, like the Aurora Veil leading into the Baxcalibur for the setup, is like a huge win condition for the Charizard Champions. And so planning a way around it or to survive it or something, it's something we all kind of have to look at when we go up against that team.
Yep. All right, so the last battle, the luckiest battle of the week.
I don't know if it was the luckiest.
Well,
I think someone Dark Pulse flinching may have been lucky.
Hey, that's only 20%. All right. But yeah, the Storm Watchers and the Ball Rollers entered in a 1-0, and I don't want to spoil it because you got to watch the match because it literally came down to a miss, and that led to a snowball effect.
And I feel like when I was watching this one, I kept telling myself, like, oh, this person's going to win. And then something would happen, and I'm like, oh, I think this person's going to win. And it was a really fun one to watch. Again, just looking at all the different sets we're able to do through a draft league is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And then I always like to see when matches are closer like this. Just because I think it's more fun for everyone.
Yeah.
Instead of, yes, it is nice to have your Baxcalibur sweeps every now and then.
Yeah.
I'd prefer most matches to be like 2-0s or less.
Yeah.
Waiting for that 0-0. Waiting for it.
Yeah, something's going to happen. Somebody's going to like Healing Wish and just, not Healing Wish exactly, but Destiny Bond type of kill. That'd be interesting. So yeah, I think that basically wraps up our week 3 recap. We had a lot of big wins. We had a couple close ones.
Do you want to go to the rankings?
Yeah, we'll go to the rankings. Yeah. So, I don't know if I can do this post-editing. I'm still shaky on it. But, so the current standings, is that what you want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Current standings? Yeah, I'll do that later. Screw it. Current standings of the Lake Superiors 3-0 with a differential of 12. Levincia Lightning Rods 3-0, differential of 9. Cortando Corphish, Alakazams, Lakeside Ladybugs, DC United Tyrantars, and Storm Watchers in that order. After that, all at 2-1. The Charizard Champions, Ball Rollers, Bolton Palooza's, Orlando Orricorios, and the Heart Homeless Honey Buns. I gotta change that. All sitting at 1 and 2 in that order that I read it. And then the Pod Squad and the Huntingdon Houndooms in that order with 0 and 3. So those are the current standings after week 3.
Which I think is fantastic. And I think one thing that makes this even better that we can all kind of celebrate, except for Garrchampion and the Lake Superiors, is that the two of them play each other next week. So one of them is going to lose.
Yep.
And then there's 5 teams at 2-1, which I don't believe we all play each other. So again, that gives some of those teams a chance to now match either the Levincia Lightning Rods or the Lake Superiors with overall score. And then there are 5 teams at 1 and 2. Again, some of those teams are probably going to win. They'll move up to be tied with the 2-1 teams. And then the 2 teams at the bottom there that are 0 and 3, there are still enough games left, I believe, to qualify, to have anyone qualify for playoffs.
Yeah, nobody's ruled out just yet.
I think next week is when we will start seeing people getting ruled out.
Yes. That's over halfway through.
Yeah, but right now it's still all 14 teams still have a chance to do it. It's just where your losses are scattered during your season. So
yeah.
Levincia Lightning Rods, they just probably scattered all their losses at the end of the season. So we're going to start seeing those come up.
Hopefully not a loss on mine.
But no, and like the differential, well, yes, it does matter. Your record is going to be the more important thing first.
And the differential will put you either ahead of other ties, other similar records, or below.
And so, again, I think with the Lake Superiors versus the Levincia Lightning Rods next week, that's going to be a battle that is, 1, should be interesting to watch, and 2, is going to have a huge effect on the overall standings. Just because this has potential for one of those teams to fall like all the way down to the middle of the rankings.
Yeah.
So, and it gives the opportunity for the rest of the teams here to really start climbing back up.
Yep. So don't give up. It's not over yet. All right. Everybody is still a contender. Yeah, I think you covered all the rankings, the ranking kind of topic.
Yeah. Then I think it's cool that the KO leaders is on there. I'm trying to think of what Pokemon will break into double digits first. I think we have a pretty wide variety of
Pokemon
kind of spreading
KOs.
out kills, so that's pretty neat to see.
Versus you in one draft league just trying to get every single kill with Mega Lopunny. That was just kind of funny, honestly.
So yeah, it's going good. I think everyone is doing well. I think this is also an interesting point in the season, because it seems like everyone is starting to learn their teams, or everyone's starting to learn like, oh, my team is missing this, so trades or drops have been made to pick those up.
You know, and sometimes it takes a couple weeks to figure out what your team is lacking, you know, or what you have too much of. So, and I think everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody. Most teams have already made adjustments.
I have not.
I will not.
I will not be making adjustments. So if you verse me, you can plan for my team right now, because it's not changing.
All right, just commitment right there. Commitment right there. Yeah. So let's just dive right into what to expect here for week 4. It's already been addressed. The Levincia Lightning Rods and the Lake Superiors, both undefeated, will be taking place next week. We got the Pod Squad taking on the Vaulton Paloozas. Orlando Orricorios taking on the Ann Arbor Alakazams. The Huntingdon Houndooms taking on the Heart Homeless Honey Buns. Every time I say that, I'm like...
It's a different name. You say a different name, I
know.
feel like, every time.
Heartless, Homeless. Either way, I'm sorry for butchering that. Then we got the Cortando Corphish taking on the Ball Rollers. Charizard Champions taking on the Lakeside Ladybugs. That's going to be a good one, I think.
Rain versus snow.
Slush. Good
Yep.
like in between. It's going to be a slushy battle. All right. So that's definitely going to be one to look out for. And then last up, we have the Storm Watchers and the DC United Tyrannotars. So we got a lot of fun matches next week. Obviously, all different matchups. So it'll be curious to see if there's more sweeps and more dominant victories like there were this current week 3, or if it's going to be more like week 2 where the battles are closer.
I think everyone's, again, starting to get in a groove with their teams. They're starting to learn what works, what doesn't work. I guess the only other thing I would recommend people is there is still that stipulation that every Pokemon on your team has to show up once.
Thank you for the reminder.
So I would recommend, if you can fit it in the either next week or the following week, it will make the prep against you in the final 2 weeks still difficult. I would just hate to see someone get to the last week and there's a Pokemon they haven't brought.
4 Pokemon
and
that they haven't brought.
Then they have to bring all 4 of those.
Yeah. I don't think any team's in that predicament.
People still have like 1 or 2 Pokemon that they haven't brought yet, so it'll be interesting. But again, I've been having fun. I hope everyone else has been having fun.
Yeah. So it's been fun. Yeah, guys, thanks. This about wraps up our week recap. So leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts on this week, how this week went for the league, and let us know what matchups you're excited for. So thanks for watching, and peace out.
Like this video, or else I will curse every single coach for week 4. All secondary effects will prompt every single turn. Flinches, paralysis, sleep, everything. So like this video, please. Have a good day.